Hi friends, happy Friday. Next we're going to do length and area of a sector. We kind of already touched base on this, but I think you'll understand it a little more clearly after I dazzle you with this. So let's first review some rules. The circumference of a circle is 2 pi r, or as we talked about yesterday, diameter times pi. Pick whichever is your favorite. Area of the circle is pi r squared, or I always write it as r squared pi because the number's in front. Now let's talk about the length of the arc. The length of the arc is the distance around. How long is this section? Whereas the area of the sector is what is the area of this section. And I like to compare it to pizza. The length of the arc is the crust of the pizza. How much crust do you have? The area of the sector is the cheese on the pizza. How much is covered? So when we talk about the length of the arc, we're going to compare just this little length of this arc right here to the whole circumference. So we're going to compare the length of the arc. It is a part of the circumference, where the area of the sector, this is a section of the whole area. So this is a part of the area of the circle. How am I going to figure out which part it is? Well, I'll show you. Let's do the first one down here. I notice in this picture the radius is 6. I'm going to pull that info out. The central angle is 30 degrees. Okay, so as I look, what is the circumference of this picture? The circumference of the circle is 2 pi r, or diameter times pi, so it's 12 pi. The area of this is radius squared pi, so it's 36 pi. So now I know what the whole thing, this whole circle has a circumference of 12 pi. This whole circle has an area covered of 36 pi. What piece here do I need to look at of the full circle? Well, I'm looking at just 30 degrees of it. So I'm going to look at how much is 30 degrees out of the full 360 degrees. That gives me the piece of the circle. I will simplify it and I will get 1/12. So this section I want to check out and this arc I want to check out are 1/12 of the full circle. Okay? So you should be able to do the circumference, the area, and figure out which piece. All you do is take the central angle that they're talking about and figure out how much the central angle is out of the whole 360. It's 1/12. So the length of this arc here is going to be 1/12 of the circumference because the length is part of the circumference. So you're going to take 1/12 of the circumference. How do I take 1/12 of the circumference? 1/12 of is multiply. The circumference is 12 pi over 1. You end up with 12 pi over 12, which comes out to be just pi. That makes sense. If there's 12 pi's and I want 1/12 of it, I want just pi of it. So now the area of the sector, I need to take 1/12 of the area of the circle. So you're going to take 1/12 of, what's the area of the circle? 36 pi over 1. 1/12 times this. And what do you get? You get 36 pi over 12, which is 3 pi. There are 12 30s in the 360, and there are 12 3s in the 36 pi. This is 3 pi, my fault. So let's review. Find your full circumference, your full area. Find what piece of the circle you're looking at. How do you find the piece? You take the degree measure over 360. And reduce. How do you find the length of the sector or the arc? You take how much is the piece of the circle times the circumference. How do I find the area? I multiply the area and the piece. So it's the area of the circle times the piece. Okay? Let's try example 2. In this picture, radius is 3. What is the degree measure here? 40. It's a central angle, so they're both 40. My circumference, go to your rule. It's 2 pi r, or diameter times pi, so it's 6 pi. My area is 3 squared pi, so it's 9 pi. The piece of my circle is, how much is 40 out of 360? It is 1/9. I want 1/9 of this circle, 1/9 of the circumference, and 1/9 of the area. 1/9 of the circumference is 6 pi over 9. You need to reduce it by 3. 2/3 pi is your answer. 2 pi over 3. That's the length of just this pizza crust. How much is the area of the sector? I take my 1/9 and I times it by the area. What is 1/9 of 9 pi? 1 pi. If you can figure it out in your head, do it. Let's review. The circumference is 6 pi, area is 9 pi. To find the piece of the circle, you find out how much of the circle I'm looking at, 40 over the full 360, it's 1/9. Do 1/9 of the 6 pi circumference to get the length. Do 1/9 of the area to get the area of the sector. Let's go to this one. Sorry. Technical difficulty. Here we go. I think you can see it. There we go. Here we go. So the radius is 9. That means the circumference is 18 pi. Area is 81 pi. Piece of the circle. How much is 120 out of 360? It's 1/3. I'm taking 1/3 of each of these. What's 1/3 of 18 pi? 6 pi. If you don't know it, I'll show you. 1/3 of 18 pi over 1. It's 18 pi over 3, which is 6 pi. Look at that. 1/3 of 81 pi. Well, 3 goes into 81 27 times. 27 pi. 1/3 of 81 pi. 81 pi, there's too many ones there, over 3 is 27 pi. Okay? Next one, radius is 4. Circumference is 8 pi. Area is 16 pi. What part of the circle am I looking at? 45 out of 360. That becomes 1/8. I want 1/8 of my circle. I want 1/8 of my circumference. If my circumference is 8 pi, 1/8 of 8 pi is pi. You don't have to do all this if you can do it mentally. What is 1/8 of 16 pi? 2 pi. Because 1/8 times 16 pi is 16 pi over 8, which is 2 pi. Look at that. Okay? Turn it over. Let's do example 5 and 6. They're trying to trick us here. The radius is 5. Therefore, my circumference is 10 pi, and my area is 25 pi. Now, if I want the shaded area here, or the length of this sector here, I am not going to look at the 120 degrees. The 120 is this arc. I don't want the measure of that arc. I want the measure of this arc here. So 360 minus the 120 is 240. So this whole arc is 240 degrees. So you're going to say 240 is how much out of 360? 240 out of 360. Let's reduce it. Reduced by 12, you get 2/3. Oh boy. 2/3 is the piece of the circle. You want 2/3 of 10. I'll do it down here. 2/3 of the 10 pi. This is your length. And then your area, you're going to do 2/3 of the 25 pi. Can you do this math? Let's see. Multiply across. 20 pi over 3. Can I reduce that? No, so it stays. 20 pi over 3. I know it looks weird. This one, 50 pi over 3. Can you reduce that? No, so it stays. 50 pi over 3. You're done. Go to the last one. My radius is 3. My circumference is 6 pi, and my area is 36 pi. The piece of the circle, I don't want the 320. I want this section. So 360 minus 320 is 40 degrees. So this is 40 degrees. That's what I'm concerned about. 40 degrees is how much out of 360? 1/9. So I want 1/9. That's the piece of the circle. I want 1/9 of 6 pi. 1/9 of 6 pi and 1/9 of 36 pi. This is your length. This is your area. 6 pi over 9 reduces to 2 pi over 3, or 2/3 pi. 2 pi over 3. Sorry I didn't give you a lot of space in here. And 36 pi over 9 is 4 pi. Oh, nice. Okay? I hope you understand it. I hope you have a great weekend. Get outside. Just finish this sheet today during class, and we can do a mini quiz on Monday. There's no mini quiz today on the equation of a circle and graphing a circle. If you want one, we'll talk about it Monday, because it might be easy points for some of you to help your grades, okay? Class 2, we'll talk about your tests Monday also, so don't worry. I didn't forget about you. All right, so we'll see you later. Love you and have a great weekend. Bobby's here, by the way. Say hi, Bobby.
Hello.
He's getting out. Bye.